royal family live? You might think it's here, but you'd be wrong. In fact, they live here. And their name certainly isn't Windsor. I've made a startling discovery. There's good evidence that's recently come to light that back in the Middle Ages, one of the kings of England was illegitimate. And if that's so, it means that every king and queen of our country since shouldn't by rights have sat on the throne. But if not them, then who? Well, I've traced the real royal family, the bloodline that's been robbed of its inheritance. And I've discovered the person alive today who should be Britain's reigning monarch. This is how it happened. Well, to me, it's all about the rules of the club. The monarchy rests entirely on blood and inheritance. There's an absolutely rigid system for passing on the throne. Prince Charles is first in line, then Prince William, then Harry, then Andrew, etc. The chain of power and wealth and privilege depends on two rules. One, you have to be of the royal bloodline, and two, you have to be born legitimate. But what happens if the system goes wrong, if the chain gets broken? 500 years ago, that's exactly what happened, and this is the man responsible. Edward IV was king, but his claim to the throne was fatally flawed. I found evidence that he was conceived not by his royal father, but by a humble archer. Responsible. Edward IV was king, but his claim to the throne was fatally flawed. I found evidence that he was conceived not by his royal father, but by a humble archer. It was the summer of 1441. England was at war with France. Edward's mother had gone there with her husband. While he was away fighting, she was rumoured to have had a fling with an English archer based in the Rouen garrison. 9 months later, Edward was born. Within 20 years, Edward became Edward IV. But gossip about his parentage persisted in his lifetime and even after his death. Flashing round the Tudor court that Edward was illegitimate, and William Shakespeare actually articulates those rumours. He says in Richard III, if I can find it, when that my mother went with child of that insatiate Edward, noble York, my princely father, then had wars in France, and by true computation of the time, found that the issue was not his begot. That's pretty clear, isn't it? Cathedral. And he discovered a document that for the first time provided facts to substantiate the rumours that Edward was a bastard. When you came here, what was it you were researching?
I was looking into the records of the 100 Years' War.
And you found this thing?
This register.
What is it?
It's a record of the cathedral chapter for the summer of 1441.
What's so significant about the summer of 1441?
This is when Edward would have been conceived.
And what was it that you found?
That the Duke of York, his father, is not actually where he should be. He's on campaign in Pontoise. Prayers are being offered for his safety.
What does it say?
It says, a sermon is being preached for the safety of the Duke of York on campaign in Pontoise.
So they're worried that he's away at the very time when he was supposed to be impregnating his wife?
Yes.
But couldn't the child have been premature?
Very, very unlikely. A premature child would have been recorded.
No one had ever understood the significance of this information before you found it?
I couldn't quite believe it myself, that something as scandalous and sensational as this could have really happened.
But this is really definite. This is the original document.
It's the original document, and it shows that at the crucial time, from July through to August, the crucial 5 weeks, the father is not there. Edward was born in late April 1442. Counting back 40 weeks earlier puts his conception right in the middle of the 5-week absence of his supposed father.
Now, conception dates aren't an exact science, but 5 weeks is a big gap. Infant mortality was very high. Sick or premature babies with a claim to the throne were a risk, and chroniclers always... First, the Royal Cathedral records also tell us that Edward's christening was a hushed-up affair in a side chapel. In contrast, his younger brother had the whole of Royal Cathedral opened up in celebration. Second, the lantern-jawed Edward looked nothing like the thin-faced man who was supposed to be his father. And thirdly, neutral sources tell us that his mother herself declared that Edward was a bastard, even making a legal deposition. She knew that the truth was vital to the integrity of the royal line. Dodgy one, because it's about the fact that John of Gaunt had a mistress Catherine and they had children, and that line is specifically barred from inheriting the crown. So in order to legitimise himself, Henry VII married this woman, Elizabeth of York, and her claim is based on the fact that she is the daughter of Edward IV. But if Edward IV is illegitimate, then that invalidates the claim of Elizabeth and consequently of Henry and of Henry VIII and of Elizabeth I and of the Georges and of Victoria and everyone all the way down to the House of Windsor. 2.5 days and a lot of jet lag, and I'm finally here. And to be honest, I'm not quite sure how to play this. I mean, if someone turned up on your doorstep and said, "Excuse me, do you know that you're the King of England?" you'd be a bit surprised, wouldn't you? Particularly if they had a director with them and a sound man and a cameraman. So I think what I'll do is I'll just talk to him about some of the facts first of all. Relax him. Hello, Michael.
Yes, come on in.
I'm Tony Robinson.
Hello, Tony. How are you?
This is our camera crew.
Come on in.
Thank you.
Would you walk?
Not from England, no. Michael, the reason that we've come over is that we've been doing a lot of research on the Plantagenets, of which you are...
One, yes.
A very distinguished one.
Very distant one, too.
Just looking at the top bit, see, the kings of England, starting with Henry II and further back right to William the Conqueror and beyond that to Alfred the Great. I went over the now familiar pattern. Wars of the Roses, Clarence, Henry Tudor, and of course the missing link in the royal chain. All of that's okay, except that we now believe that Edward IV was himself illegitimate. Which means that Elizabeth was illegitimate, Henry VII was illegitimate anyway, so this whole Tudor dynasty is built on a lie. It means that you are the rightful King of England.
Well, there you are.
How do you feel about that?
Bloody awful, actually. No, I don't. Bit of a shock, isn't it? Bit of a shock.
Has it ever crossed your mind before?
No, it hasn't, actually.
But you knew you were a Plantagenet.
Well, yes, I just said, oh, yeah, well, you go back so far and you somewhere along the line, you're a Plantagenet, you know.
Not Balmoral, not Sandringham, not Windsor, but Jerilderie in Australia, home to Britain's real monarch. Because if you think this is the royal family, think again. According to my calculations, this should be King Michael I, and his family include Simon the alternative Prince of Wales, Marcus, Lisa, Princes Jet, Zach, Caleb and Riley, not forgetting little Princess Isabella.
All right, Shalom. This is Hara 1 by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Harakah Kodash, Ma'amath. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. And Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. All right, Shalom to the Lions Den as well. Yeah, there's going to be a lesson dealing with the House of Windsor. All right, I call it the Edomite House of Windsor. All right, the Royal House of Esau. Now that's who you call the Rothschilds, or this family that claims to be in power today. Really are imposters. All right, the thief. Now you have this other family on the other side that is proven that they're the real true royal house that would have been in power under the Edomites as well, you know, because they're Edomites too, you can tell. But they would have been in power. But you can tell according to prophecy, the Lord has these specific devils set up in power, man. Deceivers, whom the one that called the queen, Elizabeth, whatever her name was, she was known to dabble in slavery. She had crown jewels on her head that she wore. They carried on her casket that was stolen from other countries. Crown jewels. All right, and also played a part in slavery and mass murder. You know, and they enlarged their desires as hell and owned, they said, 70 to 90% of the world, man. Even though other countries think they own certain areas, it's was really owned by who they called the House of Windsor. All right. So everybody's kind of renting or leasing from these Edomites, these other nations, you know. So it says here, the House of Windsor is the reigning royal house of the United Kingdom. It's been proven that they're illegitimately ruling, because King Edward IV, the Edomite, he was an illegitimate child of his father. You know, his so-called father. His mother had she was an adulteress, and she slept with an archer in France when her husband was out going to war, going to battle. She was in an affair with an average Edomite citizen that was an archer, so-called, and that was his true father. All right. So anybody that was from his lineage that's ruling right now, which is called the House of Windsor right now, they're illegitimately ruling. They're not supposed to be in power. How about that? And the Lord called them the thief. He called them the devil, the deceiver. All right. So the House of Windsor, the royal house of the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is basically the UK. All those countries over there around Britain, or the British Isles, all the way over there, I think, either Northern or Southern Ireland. And the other Commonwealth realms, see, she was over, I think, 14 realms. In 1901, a line of the House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha succeeded the House of Hanover to the British monarchy, which, with the occasion of King Edward VII, son of. All right, so yeah. Anyway, all right, the Royal House of Windsor. Now, all right, so they're being deceived. A lot of them don't even know. They're just like, yo, they wake up thinking they're truly royalty, you know. Psalms 49:11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. All right, not just their building houses, but their houses, like their rulership, realms that they rule over. All right, and families families that are in power, like the Morgan and what's his name, Oppenheimers, Rockefellers, all these families. Those are not just people, just persons anymore. Those are families that are ruling right now. All right, and they pass their lineage, their riches down through their lineage and keep themselves rich, and the poor remains poor. But their inward thought is, see, this is their inward thought. That's why they're so proud, you know. They got a new king now, King. What they call Charles. He's not our king, you know. The king of the New World Order, Edomite king. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places, their dwelling places where they're ruling at, to all generations. See, they think they're going to keep it forever, so that's why they're going ahead with this new world order. But they had to get the monarchy out of the way, the old monarchy, so they could bring in the new monarchy and have King Charles be the face of their new world order. They call their lands after their own names, man. All right. That way you have Rothschild Boulevard, Amerigo Vespucci, Africanus, you know. So they name these names after themselves, even though they're imposters. Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beast that perisheth, right? We see, unless the Lord comes back and delivers us, we all die, you know. But he said, all shall not sleep. We know that, but I'm talking about Esau right now. What's her name? Elizabeth. She couldn't take none of those riches with her, man. They tried to. They put it on the damn casket. It ain't work. All right. He is like the beast that perisheth, man. This their way is their folly, yet their posterity approve their sayings, man. All right. So they boast themselves in their pride, and they approve of each other. And they say, hey, you're great. You know, they worshiping her. And it was like a whole week of funeral, hours of it, and boring. Of a wicked person. Like sheep, they are laid in the grave. Death shall feed on them, all right? So these heathens, they're going to be laid in the grave in the kingdom. Led into their slavery, you know, their punishment. They're not going to be ruling. Ain't going to be no confusion who's the ruling house. The royal house of Israel. The royal house of Yahushua. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. The tabernacle of David. The house of David. All right. So death shall feed on them, and the upright shall have dominion over them in the morning. So we're going to have dominion in the morning. Esau got their dominion. With the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, and America today, the NATO and EU setup, they have their dominion over us in the night. But in the morning, we're going to have our dominion over these devils, man, calling themselves the ruling house. And their beauty shall consume in the grave from their dwellings, all right? So wherever they're at, they're going to be consumed, man, in the kingdom. They're going to give it up. All right? Even the land of Edom is going to be taken from them and given to the one of the tribes of Israel. But Yahweh will redeem my soul from the power of the grave, for he shall receive me. All right, so the elect of Israel, we're being redeemed from the grave according to Ezekiel 37. You know, he can cause us to come out of our graves and out of this dead state we're in, where it's hell, the grave. And Esau is in rulership right now. Be not thou afraid when one is made rich, when the glory of his house is increased, man. That's right. So we're not afraid of that. See, we don't envy these devils. We want to rule. We want to rule in righteousness, though, not in wickedness. Proverbs 3, 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways, man. We don't envy these devils because of the riches that they have. You know, and crown jewels that they don't even know how to wear the correct way. No style to it, no soul to it. It's going to look better on us. All right, Job 27:14. If his children be multiplied, that means the house of Windsor or whoever, they said the other family was, that should be in power, all of them, all over the earth. If their children are increased, it is for the sword, man. It's for the day of judgment. The Lord said he created the wicked for the day of judgment. And his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread, right? They're going to be in slavery. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death. That's what it's talking about, in the grave. Meaning they're going to be buried in death, meaning in hardcore slavery, man. All right, they're going to be buried in it. And no way out. And his widows shall not weep, man. So his women going to be taken as bed wenches and concubines in the kingdom. You know, thus saith the Lord. All right, the scriptures. Though he heap up silver as the dust and prepare raiment as the clay, all right, they heap up silver like it's nothing. They got all this gold and silver you could think of. I think they said Putin is one of the richest men on the earth and got the most nuclear missiles. And the British crown, whoever holds that position, like Charles today, they're the richest one of the richest families on the earth. And they got wealth that's hidden. All right. So they heaping up riches and silver and gold like it's nothing. He may prepare it, but the just shall put it on. And the innocent shall divide the silver. See, in the kingdom, we're going to have all the riches and wealth, and the silver is going to be divided amongst our families for whatever reason we're going to use it. And he buildeth his own house as a moth, and as a booth that the keeper maketh. All right. The rich man shall lie down, but he shall not be gathered together. He openeth his eyes, and he is not. So that time is coming, man. The rich man, these Edomites, they're rich in this world. They're going to open their eyes one day in the kingdom of Yahushua, in the righteous kingdom, and they're going to see that they have no power, and that they're just slaves. Terrors take hold on him as waters, so it's going to take hold on these devils. It's going to rush in like floods on them. A tempest stealeth him away in the night, man. See, the tempest, talking about the destruction, it's going to steal away their power in the night, and that's now. All right, that's why the Lord said he's going to come as a thief in the night. And the east wind shall carry him away, man, and he departeth. And a storm hurleth him out of his place. All right, ICBM missiles with that destruction, that's going to change everything. For Yahweh shall cast upon him and not spare. Right, so he's going to rain it upon him, these devils while they're eating, and not spare. He would fain flee out of his hand. Men shall clap their hands at him and shall hiss him out of his place. All right, so all these nations are going to go to war, and these devils going to be pushed out of rulership by the nations of Israel. Ecclesiastes 10:5. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, and this is an evil, man. This is a bad thing that they're ruling, that they're in power. They're a bunch of masons and devil worshippers. Even though Elizabeth's whole funeral was Masonic. The black checkered floor, the goat, you know, all the red they had on and shit. Demonic symbolisms. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, right here on the earth. This is where judgment is at, on the earth. As an error which proceeded from the ruler. All right, this is like an error, like a glitch in the matrix. Folly is set in great dignity, man. See that folly, foolishness, that's what they are. Foolish, that's a house, man, of Edomites. Blubbering idiots. Could barely talk, can't even lift up a pen, got to get them to come do it for them, getting mad when they don't do it. I hate this, and you know, those Edomites. It says, folly is set in great dignity. Right, they're the dignitaries, even though they're the wicked. And the rich sit in low place, man. So the elect are in the ghettos or in the neighborhoods or the suburbs. Basically, we're not in rulership right now. And we're the real spiritually rich, according to the Spirit of the Lord, the truth. I have seen servants upon horses, see? Especially in slavery, man. These damn devils whipping us on our back with their overseers, what's today called police. But today, horses could represent power, sitting in seats of rulership. And princes walking as servants upon the earth, man. So we're all over the earth. Israel scattered all over the earth. And the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. They say the House of Windsor owns 75 to, if not 80%, of the lands and real estate of the world, man, and riches. Think about that. And every war that America has fought, mostly, they said the British Army was right there too. Killing, robbing, stealing, and killing. All right. This is Obadiah 1 and 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. All right. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. You see that? So in the kingdom, Esau gonna get the slop and the basically nothing in the kingdom, man. The other nations, these heathens, they're gonna get some form of living, but Esau is gonna be small, have nothing, be brought to nothing. Thou art greatly despised, right? So you're greatly despised by the Lord, by the children of Israel, by Yahweh, by Yahweh Shai, by, what I'm saying, the Lord. And these heathens gonna hate Esau. Thou that dwellest, the pride of thine heart has deceived thee, man. The pride of thy heart, their riches, their wealth, their robbing, stealing, and killing, and nothing happening to them. That's the only power they got, and that's deceiving them. All right, thinking that they're the royal house when they're not. And they think their house is going to continue forever. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, they're the original caveman from the Nabatean area of Petra, which was originally ruled by the Edomites. And they intermingled with the Nabateans and was ran out of there in the 8th century BC. All right, whose habitation is high. See, they call them the elites. All right, the upper class. That saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground, man? And they don't believe anybody could bring them down. They really don't believe that anybody could bring them down from that position they're in. This is Sirach 10 and 9. Why is earth and ashes proud? All right, and that's what we are, just earth and ashes, man. But they're proud, and they steal and they kill and they covet riches and wealth when they ain't gonna do nothing but die and not take it with them anyway. They try to pass it down to their families, build generational wealth. There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. All right, covetous means greedy. For such and one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. And that's Esau. They'll sell their own soul, man, to the devil. All right. Sirach 10 and 7. And they've done that. He sold away his birthright. And that's why they're ruling right now, but they're going to lose that power, lose that rulership. The Lord said they were going to rule with the sword, and the fatness of the earth was going to be their inheritance, meaning anything that falls upon the earth is going to be theirs in the realm of material until the end of their rulership. Sirach 10 and 7. Pride is hateful from Yahweh, before Yahweh and man, okay? That's why he said they are greatly despised. And by both doeth one commit iniquity. Okay? Because of unrighteous dealings, everything the Queen Elizabeth or their family has done has been through unrighteous dealings, and also adultery with the King Edward IV mother. You know, twisted history to make this current ruling house to be in power. All right, through illegitimate, reason. Because of unrighteous dealings, it's not righteous. Right, slavery as well. What they did to us. Injuries, see, injuries represent, like today, crimes. Crime is when somebody's a victim. And riches gotten by deceit, man. So all the riches she got and their family has gotten is through deceit, especially through the dollar. That's another form of deceit, man. Fiat currency, funny money. While they get all the gold and silver and riches and diamonds, you know, and going and taking over these people's countries, taking their resources. That's riches gotten by deceit. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. All right. So yeah, man. So even if the other Edomite family was ruling, they would still wind up being used for the prophecies in these last days. They still be devils. It don't even matter. All right, because the real royal house is the house of David, or the house of Israel, should say. Jeremiah 10:16, the portion of Jacob is not like them, man. See, we're not like these heathens. For he is the former of all things, man. See that? So even if this current ruling family wasn't in power, and you say, yeah, well, the other Edomite family should have ruled. Well, what about before them? And before that? See, the real ruling class that does not have the mentality of a ruling class at this moment is the children of Israel. The only ones that's regaining that ruling class mentality, mindset, is the elect. For he is the former of all things, man. All right. And the further you go back, you're going to see us in power, our people in rulership. And everything came from us. And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. All right. So, and Yahweh of hosts is his name, man. Yahweh of armies, the God of armies. So yeah, man, Israel is the former of all things. So really, it should be the house of David and have Israelites standing up there. But ever since 65 BC in the Roman Empire with Pompey, we have not been able to call ourselves kings. You know, after the destruction of the Hasmonean dynasty, after Judas Maccabees and them, and then you had the Herodian dynasty. You know, so they took away, I think his name was Aristotle. I always forget his name. But the last king of the Hasmonean dynasty that was ruling. You know, that's when Herod wanted to put the crown on as king. And they didn't want to kill Yahushua as a baby because of the prophecies. They wanted to kill him because it was told to Herod that we had a king. And they're like, oh, yeah, you got a king, huh? And that's why they wrote on Yahushua cross, a post, and they hung him up real high, man. He was on top of a hill when they hung Yahushua up on the cross over Golgotha, and the people would walk by on that street and they would see him up there, you know, on top of a hill. You know what I mean? For like most of the day, the heat of the day. So, we're the former of all things. You know, they wrote upon his head, his cross, here lies your king. All right, King of Israel, the King of the Jews. So this was like a sarcastic way of saying that here's your king. Y'all had a king, here you go. All right, but prophetically, Yahushua took those steps in righteousness to give his life, according to prophecy, to become our king forever and sit on the throne of David. All right, in the flesh. All right, so their inward thought is that their houses are going to continue forever, and they're not. All these rich families, Edomite families that they got that we don't even know of. Jeremiah 16:17, for mine eyes are upon all their ways. See, the Lord is watching all of them, even the ones we can't see. They are not hid from my face. They're hidden from us, but they're not hidden from the Lord, Yahweh, and Yahushua. Neither is their iniquity hid from my eyes, man. So the Lord, all the little sneaky and devilish, demonic shit they be doing, that we like, I wonder what she did. Or we'll see the results of it. We'll see her wearing crowns from slavery or jewels. Or they have Masonic and devil worshiping stuff going on, symbolisms. But there's an underlying foundation that they go back to. And the Lord knows that foundation. The Lord knows what they're hiding. And first, I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land, and they have filled mine inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things, man. They took the land of Israel, gave sovereignty to those Edomites over there, fake Jews, Revelation 2:9, the synagogue of Satan. And it says, and they filled the Israelites with their detestable things, man. Furthering our affliction. Setting up corporations and factories coming from the royal house and those fake Jews, all of them. Pressure from above, pressure below. And on the lower level, the lower class, they're getting fed pork and their damn vitamins, all kind of GMOs and foul stuff that the FDA has approved to make it through the food market. All right, so they fill our people with things that are unlawful to eat: shrimp, lobster, and crabs. All right, O Yahweh, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of our affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. All right, so everything they stand for is a lie. The House of Windsor, all of them. Even the other family in the picture. All right, they've been lied to as well. All their endless genealogies that they have. Well, if you go back far enough, you're going to see that Jacob is the former of all things, man. All right? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, always going back to Adam, who is Yahushua. All right? So, yeah, man, everything they've inherited is nothing but lies. And the Lord said they're the father of those lies and vanity. All right? Everything they have is vanity. See that? A glimpse in a moment. She was ruling since 1920s. They got pictures of her, Elizabeth, throwing up Nazi hands. The symbols from the Nazis and shit. So yeah, man, she had a chain or something, or a pendant that somebody putting around on social media, where it was an Edomite fake angel with wings putting his foot down on the neck of Jake. So you can tell their mindset. They mean like keeping us underfoot forever. And they believe that angel that wrestled with Jacob is Esau. And they try to say we lose. So yeah, man. Surely our fathers have inherited lies and vanity and things wherein there is no profit. So they're not supposed to be in rulership in the first place. All right? They're illegitimately in power, man. So every last one of them are not supposed to be standing or sitting on the thrones that they're seated on today. All right? And you got this new king in power named King Charles. And they got him all boisted up and pride and deceived and confused. He don't know what the hell going on. And they got him gassed up, thinking he's somebody, man. Well, Galatians 6:3. For if a man think himself to be something, when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself.